Welcome back from that break, and right now I'm being joined by Dr. Anakwenza Nwachukwu, who is a former presidential aspirant under the People's Democratic Party. He joins me via Zoom. A very beautiful evening, Dr. Anakwenza, and thank you for joining us on the program again today.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure. Now, let me start by asking, what do you understand by restructuring a new Nigeria? Like we can see, the 2027 general election is beginning to take shape. Political parties are beginning to put things in order. The momentum are beginning to gather up. And Nigerians are also getting ready. Nigerians are also getting ready for a new Nigeria. So, but then, what does restructuring mean to you?
Yeah, before I start, my fundamental beliefs, we envision a Nigeria where leadership is based on merit, hard work, fairness, accountability for all. We envision a Nigeria in the true sense of the word united, where every Nigerian feels like they belong and are not marginalized. We envision a Nigeria where ethnic diversity is seen as a strength.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
I can hear you. We believe in, we envision a Nigeria where ethnic diversity is seen as a strength, an asset to be harnessed and celebrated by all Nigerians for our rich heritage. We want Nigeria where equity, fairness, and justice will be the guiding principles for our society that will be just, so that everybody will be treated the same and everybody will feel equal. Everybody will contribute to the development of our great country, Nigeria. Can you hear me?
Now, restructuring Nigeria has been a major conversation, but year in, year out, we don't seem to see any difference. What do you think is the problem actually? Why have we been able to restructure or see the Nigeria that every Nigeria is clamoring for?
Because, if they are running Nigeria like a unit, which is not going, it's not working, it will never work. At independence, you had the eastern region, you have western region, you have the northern region.
Dr. Anakwenza, I can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear
better now. Please go ahead.
In the 60s, you had eastern region, you have western region, you have northern region. Nigeria was growing so fast then. It's unbelievable. You need a Nigeria that's divided up into regions where each regions can work hard to produce and market themselves and sell. Then Eastern Nigeria will make palm oil and kernel and they will sell. And they were making a lot of money. The Western Nigeria, they were making cocoa. Cocoa is in big demand till today. All of that is dead and they not had groundnut pyramid. We need to go back to regionalization so we can hold our leaders more accountable. So each region can decide what they want for themselves. If you believe in industries like the East, we will work on that. If the West believe in their own, they believe. If they not have their own belief, then they will do. But you need regionalization so power is shared. All the different groups will have a saying in the future of the country. All the groups will have leadership representing them at different levels. Even the smallest tribe, we have local government. And then within the regions, you have states. That's what you need. That's what will make Nigeria grow. Then there's competitions among the regions. Right now, we can have 6 regions. They will be competing against each other on who is making more progress and training their people. Resources found on the ground of each state will be owned by the regions and royalties paid to the federal government as taxes. Those people who are producing it, they will own it. But the revenues derived from it will be shared with federal government. We need a Nigeria where all the different components are working to make us greater, and that's the solution. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Dr. Anakwenza. Now, do you think Nigeria truly need restructuring at this time? Or would you say that, okay, looking at the government of the day, that the policies they've put in place is actually already restructuring Nigeria? Or do you think that at this stage, particularly, that Nigeria needs to be restructured?
Nigeria will be better restructured. I don't believe in breaking up of Nigeria. I believe in one Nigeria, but each part needs to have their own regional autonomy, and they all contribute to the central body. The federal government should control things like army, foreign policy, but things like building of economy should go to the regions. We were doing well in the 60s when I was young. So that's the direction we need to go. What you have now is not working. Some people are just capturing federal power, and they put all their tribe members in all the positions as ministers. And power is not distributed according to all the regions. You have whoever captures power, puts all his village people in all the positions. It's not helping. We need to go back to how we used to be. And I don't see the policies that are new. I don't see those new policies that are changing anything. I don't see it.
I wasn't so sure if I hear you clearly, but when you say how it used to be, can you take us back to when you were under which leadership were you saying, or were you referring to when you say how it used to be? Are you trying to say how Nigeria used to be before?
Yeah, 1960s, when you had a parliamentary system. Each region, they were all competing. Who will produce more? Who will sell more crops? Who will manufacture more? Who is the best industrialist? Which one have the best education? At that time, the West, Awolowo was pushing education. That's why the Yorubas went ahead of all the other regions in terms of education. In the East, they were pushing industries. We had more industries than anybody there. And we were manufacturing. Our economy in the East was growing faster than most of the countries in the world. We need to go back to that. The North had agriculture. Agriculture is a great thing. Nigeria can feed the whole of Africa if well managed. But we have to leave unitary government when everybody's have their hands off just looking for food to come from Abuja. It's not going to work.
Now, what specific role do you think Nigerian leaders should deploy to achieve a structured Nigeria? Because we've seen policy, or is it just about making policies?
The leaders should go back to restructure Nigeria so the power
but
can
over time, we've seen policies that are being made and they don't seem to even get Nigeria better. Rather, it keeps sinking.
But the changing Nigeria requires a lot. It requires moving the economy to the private sector, not government-owned refinery, which is a failure. Government-owned iron and steel, which is a failure. Not Nigerian-owned airways, they all failed. Nigerian-owned shipping failed. So you need to push power to the private sector and encourage private people to do things and make things. Nigeria should be making cars, supplying the whole of Africa. Cars made in Nigeria. They're doing cars in Nnewi now. That can be made bigger. Making trucks, making cars, making buses, making farm equipment. They're doing that in Nnewi now. That can be made bigger to supply the whole of Africa. Our Nigerian food in the north, they have a lot of land. We can be feeding the whole of Africa and maybe Europe if Nigerian government gets involved in helping the farmers to produce. That's what I mean. The policies made should be towards moving to the private sector. Government sector has been a failure and it will continue to be a failure. There needs to be competitions among the different states on who will do better. That's what regionalization will do for you.
Dr. Makweze, let me ask you this. Do you think the current political leaders have shown sincere political will to restructure Nigeria? I mean, when you look at the policies that have been made, truly, would you say, oh, these current political leaders are truly showing political will to restructure Nigeria, the Nigeria that we all clamor for, or the Nigeria that we are all calling for?
If Nigeria is restructured, we will be doing so well. We will be one of the top countries in the world. We will be a world power. We can, like Europeans will be coming to Nigeria. That's what I envision, begging for job, begging you to.
But then, do you think these current political leaders have shown enough political will to restructure Nigeria?
They have not, but we need to continue encouraging them to move in that direction. It will help everybody. The whole thing we're doing should be focused on helping our children for the future. One day we'll all be gone. We need to live in Nigeria that young people can have a future. The young Nigerians can compete. When they come overseas, they do very well. When they come to Nigeria, their mind is all messed up when they go back to Nigeria. But when they leave Nigeria, Nigerians do well. So creates a system that will allow people to compete, allow regions to compete against each other, so that we can be the leader of the black people that we're supposed to be. I'll be in Caribbean next week, in 2 weeks from now, where they have to go and break color, not for them, and pour libation. They're looking at us. They're reading about Nigeria every day. They're disappointed that we that are supposed to be the first boy of the family cannot even do anything for ourselves. Industrially, we're not making anything. The world is judged based on GDP, gross domestic product. We are not producing anything. That's why your money is not worth anything. You have to be. They judge you based on cars you're producing, plane you're producing, train you're producing, helicopters you're producing, fridge, computers. We can do all those things in Aba, but we are not encouraging them to do that. As long as you're not producing anything, you're importing even matches and toothpick, you're not going to go anywhere. We can turn this around, and Nigeria can be a world power where everybody will be coming to you. In Abuja, they will be begging you for letter, come, I'm telling you, but people will come to work for Nigeria if we change it and make it a competitive state. Look, all the minerals that they use to build things in the world is in Nigeria. Japan don't have any mineral. They import 100%. China don't have too much. They come to Nigeria to carry the sand. Sand in your leg is full of aluminum, bauxite, diamond, gold. We have, if we release the brain of our young people, we can make things in Nigeria. We should be sending out finished products to the rest of the world. And another area that the leadership, they're not looking at. Tourism can produce a whole lot of money. Tourism can produce more than 20 billion a year or 15 billion a year. They're not doing anything about that. I've said it many times. Most of the black people outside Nigeria and outside the world are Nigerians who were taken out as slaves. In Caribbean, that's why I'm going there next week to go and pray for them and break color. Not the African Americans, 40 million. Their fathers are all from Nigeria. We need to develop our tourism so that our hotels will be full. Our restaurants will be full. When they come, they will be buying carved things, carved equipment, things, drums, oja, ogene. That's what they're looking for. They will come, but they're afraid of kidnapping when they come to Nigeria. So those are the kind of things that will change things. We need to open up airports in Enugu to take more than 10 different airlines, and Port Harcourt, and maybe Kaduna or Kano. We need to open up our seaport, not just depending on Lagos. That's the problem. We need Port Harcourt Airport, Warri Airport, Calabar Airport to be big so we can start producing and shipping things out. That's what we change Nigeria. That's what we change the future of our children. Our children are good. Nothing is wrong with our children. They are excellent. But our leaders are not good, or they are not good enough. They need to be willing to learn.
Okay, now we've often hear federal government say the federal government must not do everything, which is true. It takes collective efforts, that of the federal, the state, and the local, and of course even the citizens. But now, when we talk about restructuring, where does it really begin from? Do you think it should begin from the federal, the state, or the local?
It has to come from the federal parliament in Abuja, and then they need to consult all the regions, and then they need to carve up Nigeria in regions. Then that same thing will go down to the state, and then goes down to the local government level. But it needs to start from Abuja. There need to be discussions, and they need to go around the different regions and talk, and then they need to create regions with people who have similar type of ambition and goals. It will work. It's better than what you have now. What you have now is a failure, and if you continue, you will continue failing. I cry for the young people because the old people are destroying their future.
You just mentioned it should begin from the federal. So what role should the federal play? What role should the states play? What role should the local play in restructuring this whole Nigeria and restructuring Nigeria to becoming a new Nigeria?
And they need to reactivate what was there. You know, in Jonathan's time, they already came up with plans to have regionalization. It was at the last minute that it fell. It was already talked about. We need to start talking, having them discussing it, and discussing the states and get it done. What we have now is not working. The same thing will continue to fail. Look, in the 60s, when there was a civil war, you know, they had Aburi Accord. Aburi Accord is talking about regionalization. If you had it in the 60s, Nigeria would be a world power today. That's how it's in countries like India. India has more than 40 states. There are different tribes in India, different languages, but they have regions. Each of them have their own region, and they are still able to work together. There is no military coup in India. They have different religions. They have the Hindu, they have Muslim and Christian. They work together, but we are not able to. But they share power. Same thing in China. So America, each state is like almost like a region. In California, they can do almost everything except for foreign policy and the army. It helps. It will help better. And if a state if a region don't want to make progress, they just want to go to sleep, you leave them to go to sleep. The ones that want to go forward, you let them go forward, and they will see, and they will change.
Now, when we talk about restructuring Nigeria, how would restructuring Nigeria improve the economic performance of Nigeria as a country?
Like I said already, it will increase competition. It will bring local people to start making things. We can make a lot of things if you have like regionalization, like in Aba. Nothing we can make there in Aba, and that we can ship out. You know, in the West, they used to have cocoa. Chocolate is big demand in the world till today. But I don't know why the Yoruba states dropped making cocoa. It's a big thing. That's what they lived on at that time in the 60s. We need to go back to that. We in the East need to go back to palm oil and palm trees, and the North had dominance in agriculture. They should go back to that. People should stop depending on oil. And we need to train our children so we can manufacture. We need to manufacture. If we're not making things, we're not going to go anywhere. We can make refrigerators in Nigeria. We can make computers in Nigeria. We can build cars. We're already building cars in Nnewi, and trucks and jeeps. We can make tires. You know, the raw material for tire is rubber. We have rubber in Nigeria when I was small, and the petroleum byproduct, that's what makes rubber. We can make tire that can supply the whole of Africa at least. And cars. All it takes to make cars is aluminum and iron. We have it in abundance. And we have gas. We should be able to have electricity 24 hours a day. When I go to Jamaica, they have electricity 24 hours a day. When I went to St. Vincent Island, they have it. Look at us. With all the resources we have. We have coal. We're not using coal. It's dormant. South Africa's electricity today comes from coal. In Brazil, the electricity comes from using dam, hydroelectric dam. We have rivers. We need to put in more dams in our rivers so that we can have production, so that electricity will not be so high. There's so many things we can do. We have gas. With gas turbine, they are flooding it in riverine areas. If you take the gas and put it in a turbine machine, you will have electricity until this world comes to an end. Let's use our brain. Let's put our best people in position of power. Let's stop thinking about tribes and religion. Who is from your village? Like you have somebody like a president, they put everybody as ministers is from their town or their village or their religion. That's bad. That's not good thing for black people in the world.
All right, Dr. Anakwenzi Nwachukwu, before you go, in line with restructuring Nigeria, and we can ship in the 2027 general election, which we can see political parties warming up already. Now, I don't know if you monitored that of council election that just took place in Abuja few days ago. Now, from your own assessment, because this restructuring we are talking about involves both political leaders, policy makers, and of course the citizens, because the citizens get to exercise their civil right by voting. As the 2027 general election begins to heat up, with what has happened in FCT election, what is your assessment in all of it? I mean, APC won 5 polling units, leaving PDP with 1, which is of that of Gwagwalada. But in less than 48 hours, the chairman who won the Gwagwalada Council defected to APC. So it is correct to say that APC won the 6th local council. So now, and here there is a new INEC chairman. With all that just played out, with the election that happened in Abuja, the FCT council election, what is your assessment and what is your prediction come the next election, the next general election?
The problem is that you don't have an organized opposition that's united. That's why APC is dominant everywhere. People are joining party where there's already chop. They are joining to go and chop. But if you have real serious opposition, you don't have PDPs in this array. You had people who destroyed it during the last election. You have people who are selfish and greedy. They want to be there and nobody else. And even though it's not their turn, they want to be there. That's why PDP died. So as long as it's like that, the APC is strong, PDP is weak. I'm not surprised that APC took out the election. But if opposition comes together and they have a credible candidate, that same result you see will not be the same. When it's 2027 election, it will not be. If you have credible party come together with credible person, the result will not be like that. It might be a new party, but they can win all of the same seats that we just talked about. But I don't think it's any fraud in it. I think it's free and fair. But I think people are just joining party that already have something to chop.
With the way everything is playing out in the political space, would you say there is a strong opposition to oppose APC come the next election? But before then, I still want to understand, where do you belong exactly? Are you still a member of the PDP, or do you intend to move from PDP to maybe ADC or APC or any other political party?
I told you the PDP was destroyed by people.
Can you hear me, Dr. Nakunze? Okay, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. I told you PDP was destroyed by some people that are selfish.
But then, are you still a member of the PDP?
I'm still there, but I'm looking for what will help Nigeria, not necessarily what will help myself. I would like for them to come together themselves or come together with other parties to form a new coalition that can challenge the present government. I'm interested in what will help the young people of Nigeria, not myself. I'm already self-sufficient, self-made. I'm just worried about young people like you. So if we can have a new party that can bring all the opposition together, that's what I will support. It doesn't necessarily mean myself.
But then, are you worried with what is playing out in the political space, that the fact that we don't seem to see a strong opposition to challenge APC in the next election? Are you worried about that? Does that threaten Nigeria's democracy?
I'm worried about that, but I'm hoping that the opposition will come together. Maybe in the next 3 months, we still have hope. It would be good to have an opposition that's credible, but if there is none, then we can support the present government and keep talking to their head to change and make things better. It will be good to have an opposition, but if there is not, we work with what we have to make it better. Like I'm talking now, telling them what to do, what to change. It's not about me. It's about Nigerians. It's about young people. I don't need anything from anybody. I'm self-made already.
But then, do you think there is a reason why you could see, aside the leadership crisis that is happening in your party, the People's Democratic Party, do you think there is a reason why other political figures are defecting to APC? We can see that APC controls up to, is it 30 or more of the states in Nigeria, so that's quite a lot. in a country where we have many political parties, registered political parties, but then one political party seems to be controlling about 30 or more states out of 36 states. I mean, what do you think could have been the reason for all of the disruption in other political parties, both ADC, both APGA, PDP, your own political party?
I still have hope that things will turn around. There was a time when APC was nothing, or the parties that made up APC, there was a time where they had no hope, they were nothing. But they came together in a forceful way to change it. The APC was nothing before. It was all PDP, it was all PDP. No condition is permanent. Things can change. I don't think it's too late for things to change. If you have the position, put the right person in. If they put in the right person in the party like ADC, if they put in the right person, they can become strong. They can challenge PDP, they can challenge APC. If ADC organize themselves and put the right person as the head, if they put the wrong person at the head, they're finished. But if there is no good opposition, APC is there. We start working with APC to be talking to them to change. We start telling them to go right, go left, right. We will be talking to them. The APC is not our enemy. There's our brothers there. We'll be talking to them and get them to move the country to the right direction.
Now, as a member of PDP in diaspora, I want to know, are there talks going on in your party? I want to believe you're still a member of the People's Democratic Party. Now, are there talks going on in your party on how to put the PDP in order? Or you are not just following whatever that is happening in your party, I mean the PDP again. But if you are there talks going on to put the PDP in order to make it come back stronger?
I'm not active. I'm not active in PDP today. I'm not active.
So where are you active then?
Active. I'm open. I'm open to see what will happen.
All right. It seems we lost it, but then I was almost drawing the conversation to an end. Dr. Anakwenze Nwachukwu has been speaking to us about restructuring Nigeria, the new Nigeria that the Nigerian people want. And there's been so many conversation around that. Thank you so much, Dr. Anakwenze Nwachukwu. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Like we all know that building a nation is a collective effort. So while the government is expected to do theirs, you as a citizen is also expected to do yours. Until we'll come your way some other time, keep watching Kaftan Television. I am Chinaza Asegu, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.